Welcome to TradeTheMBI.com. This journalist report is for the 6th of November. Well, we ended the week reasonably positive note. We just don't have any short activity whatsoever. And it's not that we're seeing a whole lot of long interest. We had just a brief turnaround. It was midterm buyers that kind of lifted it. We should see some fund money from the monthly distribution start to come into the market. There just isn't a whole lot to get upset about, and there's not a whole lot to be more than excited given the run-up that we've already seen. So I think we're just, again, basing along here for a little bit. We are producing a much lower shakeout after the original uptick. And while we've got a reset back here, we still need to make continuation higher moves. And as long as it's rising, it's not a problem, and as long as you have that shakeout below red on the DOC, you're always a happy camper. I could see a little more weakness if that steel here, the short-term buyers crosses below the short. That tends to create a little more softness, but again, it's just a slow trail up. Exactly what we thought was going to happen, way back from after the election, because the change in policies really has an impact on valuations and where things go from here. So the NASDAQ, again, a little bit better. So it's actually caught back up to the S&P as far as they're pretty much well matched. I think that's a huge improvement. The euro still staying outside the normalized range. As long as it's slightly above there, I think that still adds a little bit of a premium to the S&P. Not a whole lot if it gets back into the range. TLT continuing its ascent. It's going to be interesting because now with the potential of a new Fed chairman, will policies change dramatically? Will they stay the same? Those are going to be the unanswered questions. This big one in here, though, is the oil, and the continuation move higher. While it will slow some economic growth, it's actually an indication that we have some, which that's really the key marker from that, and that tells us everything we need to know. And still no expectation of inflation, because again, I think you've got to absorb this. Even though you talk about 4% unemployment, there is a massive surplus of labor that exists there, and as long as wage pressures are not being driven, that's really the key. And everything else is going to be subordinate to wage pressure. Once wage pressures climb, then everything else will start to rise accordingly. And so until that happens, we're in a stasis. Turning to our 5K chart, though, we can see that, we continued from this spike up. All we did was come back, retrace to the 50%, continued another assault going higher until we started breaking above 13.5, and you can see all we did in the pre-market here is just retraced it to clear out the stops and move right back up. So that's so typical of what we're going to be seeing more of, because they're going to use those after hours to clear tight stops and take out ranges. Might have even, I thought, gone even a little further. If there had been more weakness, we would have cleared out this last dip right underneath here, which would have been down at the 0 point of where the current Fibonacci. And you can see with that constant rising, once you have that rise, it puts pressure to the downside, and sure enough, once we get the plus 13.5 right here, and we started to cave real fast. But it just been bought up pretty quick here with the complete reset. So I don't think it's anything problematic. It's just, this is what people were kind of referred to as that constant ABC action, up, down, and then you just keep doing that over and over until something changes, and that's the key, the thing that changes. We're not there yet. We're still going to continue to plug along, and I don't think there's any major upset unless there's some kind of world event that takes place that causes it, or you continue to see further erosion in support for the tax reform, though I think a lot of people recognize that that's still a little ways off before anything even gets close to being approved. So that is the long and the short of it for now. As always, look for me on Skype chat. Trade well.